Me to do that. I scheduled this thing. Hey guys, I guess I'm live. I did not mean to go live. I was actually trying to schedule the live. Well, actually reschedule. I scheduled. Okay, there we go. I can hear myself. You can hear me too. How is everyone doing today on this beautiful June 30th, 2025? And well, actually, let me give it a few minutes, guys, for some people to join. Welcome, welcome. Come on in, y'all. Let's get it together. Oh my goodness, I'm live on the wrong phone. Great. Hold on, y'all. Okay, I'm back. I hope you guys can still hear me. Okay, I'm back. I hope you guys can still hear me. Put some emojis in the chat if you can hear me, guys. I had to send myself a note, my notes from this phone to my other phone. I'm giving it a few minutes for some more people to join. Come on in, everyone. Come on in. Welcome, 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 welcome. Okay, good. You guys can hear me. Thank you for tapping those hearts. I appreciate it. Share the stream, guys. Share the stream. Hey, Noah and Lincoln. Hey, John W. Welcome, welcome. Hey, Bush Babies. I see you guys. Hey, Frequent Flyness. Welcome, welcome. Come on in, everyone. Come on in. We're going to talk about this. Actually, it was a very eventful day in court today. Very eventful, to say the least. But welcome in, everyone. I hope you're doing great today on this beautiful day, June 30th, 2025. As most of you are already aware, jury instructions have the Judge Arun Submarinian, he charged the jury today. He charged them to begin their deliberations based on the law prescribed in the federal court system. What he charged them with and what they were given was collaborative, meaning it was done, the prosecution had a say. They were able to propose the instructions that they felt that should be included, as well as the defense. Learn how. Give me a second to. One second, guys. Why did that just put substance? All right, so the defense as well as the prosecution, the government, were able to give input. They were allowed to give their input on what the instructions should look like for the jury. Um, at the end, at the end of it all, the end all be all is the final word goes to the judge. He will take into consideration what the prosecution has presented to him, as well as what the defense has presented to him. And he will make a determination, and he will, go ahead and approve, put together the final charge. So today, the judge spent 2 hours. He spent 2 hours giving out those jury instructions. Let's see here. Let me get my notes. I just sent the note over. So where is it? 6:30 right here. Okay, so jury deliberations, and also there was a jury snag. When I say it was very eventful today, down at the courthouse in the Southern District of New York, the judge's instructions and deliberation began today, right? Now, Judge Arun Subramanian spent over 2 hours, as I said, charging the jury. He was reviewing legal standards with them. The need for anonymity and defining racketeering, as well as trafficking thresholds. Before sending them into deliberations on the 5 charges Diddy is currently facing, which is racketeering, conspiracy, 2 counts of sex trafficking by force, and 2 counts of transporting individuals for prostitution. Now, as it stands, as of right now, there has not been a verdict. There hasn't been a verdict brought back by the juries. The deliberations paused, and they will continue tomorrow. They ended the day at about 5 o'clock, and they'll reconvene. Now, I don't really know. I think, I don't, I was saying, in my opinion, I believe that they'll come back with something by Wednesday or Thursday. But now I'm not really sure. Because from my understanding, first of all, I would have sat here and read through the judge's instructions for you. However, let me see if he posted it. The online person that normally posts it did not post it today. And of course, CNN, they don't really ever post. They don't ever post what's actually being said in court. They post like a synopsis. So let me check my guy, Inner City Press, to see if he posted what exactly Judge Submarinian said. Now, if it's not posted, I completely understand. Usually, they don't want to post those until the deliberations are complete, until jury deliberations are done. So, I mean, it's understandable if it's not yet posted, but it looks like he posted something here. It says, trial deliberation, jury has... Okay, so those are the questions. That's a question. U.S. versus Sean Combs. Yeah, he doesn't... Does he... the government with the let us know by. All right, let me see. Show other messages. And I do apologize, guys. I was out on Nana duties today. Oh, he does post it. Okay, great. At 9:12 a.m., Judge Submarinian enters. Judge, this is him speaking. In case there is anything, we'll bring the jury in for the charge. Combs's Teeny Garagos. The laptop is ready. There's a few things we'll finalize during the charge. The judge, just email it to Chambers. Okay? The judge, all rise. The jury enters. The judge, I'll read you the charge. It's long, but I'll try to make it interesting. You have now heard all of the evidence in this case, as well as the final arguments of the parties. I will instruct you on the law. As I give it to you, the evidence is the testimony. I've been saying that since I've been discussing this case, because a lot of people have been, where's the evidence? Where's the evidence? They have no evidence. In the court of law, testimony is considered to be evidence, okay? So let me start over. The judge says the evidence is the testimony, the answers, and the exhibits. Arguments are not evidence. You are the sole and exclusive arbiters of the fact. What is a reasonable doubt? It's based on your common sense. After carefully weighing all of the evidence, you just weigh each witness's credibility, the truth, and importance of their testimony, size him or her up. You must decide. Sean Combs has been formally charged in an indictment. An indictment is not evidence. Count one. One charge from 2004 to 2024 of a racketeering enterprise. Count two. From 2009 to 2018, SMEX trafficking of Cassandra Ventura, aka Cassie. Count three. From 2009 to 2018, transporting individuals, including but not limited to Ms. Ventura, for purposes of prostitution. Now that's key and interesting, because I've been saying since the beginning of this thing, everyone has been focused in on the women with the prostitution part of it. Everybody. They've been saying, well, they were his girlfriends. They were willing participants. They were What about the professionals he hired and flew them all over the place? What about those people? What about Sly? I don't believe the Punisher left the tri-state area, but Cabral, the guy from Atlanta, Anton, there's a few of them who cross state lines. That is illegal, okay? Count, trafficking, SMEC trafficking, individuals limited to, okay. Each count is separate. For example, I think he meant, because it says for attempt. Oh, for attempt, the U.S. is example. For example, the U.S. must show intent and substantial steps taken. Mere intention does not account to an attempt. Aiding and abetting means knowingly doing some act to aid or abet, encourage a crime to be committed. For RICO, the United States government must prove that from 2004 to 2024, there was an agreement between two or more individuals for a racketeering enterprise that impacted interstate commerce, that the defendant joined and committed at least 2 predicate acts. So the time frame that they're looking at for that RICO is 2004 to 2024, okay? And the government only needs to prove 2 predicate acts. Now, if you ask me and if you've been paying close attention, thank you for the hearts, guys. If you've been paying close attention to this case, if you have been focusing and listening and reading, going back to the letter of the law, the government has proven it. They've proven at least, I would say, 5 predicate acts, okay? The United States government must prove a mutual understanding to cooperate. You may infer its existence from the circumstances of this case. Actions may speak louder than words. You may consider the acts of all of those you find to be participants. If you find that Combs's enterprise existed, you must find whether it continued in a substantially similar form from 2004 to 2024. The people can change. So he's letting the jury know. Remember, all of the past assistants that came up to testify, he is letting the jury know in this particular area of the jury instructions that the players don't have to stay the same throughout the years. As long as the game itself, for instance, FOs and Wild King Knights, as long as the game remained the same, they can actually, evaluate that based on the process. What's going on is continual, okay? The people can change, okay. As to the defendant being a member, he had to know of the existence of the enterprise. The United States alleges 8 predicated acts: kidnapping, arson, bribery, witness tampering, forced labor, sex trafficking, transportation for the purposes of prostitution, intent to distribute narcotics. The United States government has to prove 2 offenses within 10 years. Kidnapping does not occur if the victim consented. Consent may be withdrawn. Arson, under California law, means the conspirator set fire or caused the fire willfully or maliciously. Bribery of a witness under California law requires that a conspirator gives or promises to give a bribe to a person, giving or about to give information to law enforcement to unlawfully influence it. For witness tampering, violation under 18 section 1512B3, it does not matter if the subject of the threat is in fact fearful. Only a threat is required, but it must be knowing. It must be knowingly. For forced labor, under section 1589A, requires use of force or use of force of physical restraint or physical restraint. A person may withdraw consent and it may become forced labor. Sex trafficking will have the same definition as in counts 2 and 4, and transportation to engage in prostitution will have the same as counts 3 and 5. Next is distribution of narcotics, including this long word that you see here. Knowingly and intentionally, distribution means actually the transfer to deliver to another person. For possession, physical custody is not needed. Control is enough. RICO has a 5-year statute of limitation. You must find that it continued past 2019. If you find that the government had not proven this beyond a reasonable doubt, you must find the defendant not guilty. On sex trafficking, counts 2 and 4. Transport means to take or convey from one place to another. Reckless disregard satisfies the statute. The deliberate closing of eyes. You must be unanimous on at least one specific instance of sex trafficking. On counts 3 and 5, knowingly transporting or arranging for the transportation of an individual for the purposes of an act of prostitution. Buying or arranging a ticket is enough. Now, I'm going to stop there real quick and give my commentary. Now, when they had those summary witnesses and the charts come out, because everybody's like, oh, Diddy's not guilty, he's not guilty. All these people running around talking about he's not guilty. His financial, what was his name? Ferguson? Yeah, the financial guy. Ferguson came up and shared details about how the finances were utilized and, how things were paid for, how Diddy was paid and everything. And there were some really weird lines, very blurred lines during that testimony. But when the chart person came up, there was a special agent who works within the Southern District of New York office. I think she was a paralegal. She was responsible for putting all of the testimonies that they received together by way of text messages, receipts of flights for all of the professional SMEX workers, for Cassandra Ventura, for Jane Doe. She was responsible for putting together hotel rooms, receipts of hotel rooms, damages to different hotel rooms. Like, so all of this, he said that they just have to, paying for a ticket is enough, okay? Paying for a ticket is enough. So if you are within the sound of my voice, I need you to understand something. If you guys are flying people out for the purposes of prostitution, stop. It's illegal. Prostitution does not need to be the main purpose. Prostitution is engaging in sexual activity for money or its equivalent. You must be unanimous on at least one specific act of transportation with the intent to engage in prostitution. On venue, the United States government must prove that at least one act occurred in the Southern District of New York, one of the 8 counties. Now we know that when Diddy was in New York, there was a lot of talk about the Trump Hotel. There's a lot of talk about the Trump Hotel. There was a lot of talk about other hotels in Manhattan. So we already know that at least one of these acts happened in their jurisdiction. Now let me continue. We are in the home stretch. In weighing expert testimony, you should not accept it just because I allowed it. The testimony of government officials are not worth more or less weight than any other witness. Witnesses given immunity should be examined with greater than that ordinary witnesses. I think that's a typo. Charts and summaries. Demonstrative aids are not evidence and will not be available to you in the jury room. Certain witnesses were permitted to be identified by pseudonyms. That should not bear on your evaluation of their credibility. The defendant had no responsibility to testify, and he did not. You must not attach any significance to that. Voluntary intoxication may not negate the intent of RICO predicates. Uncalled witnesses. You have heard names of people not called as witnesses. Each side had an equal opportunity to call them. Do not speculate or consider this. Any notes you took are only for you. No outside reading. You are to consider only what was presented within the 4 walls of this courtroom. You may not communicate about this case, including on X, Instagram, or YouTube. If you see this, tell my deputy. Do not be swayed by bias, including implicit bias. These hidden thoughts can impact what we hear and see and how we remember it. You will now retire to consider the case. Each of you must decide the case for himself or herself after deliberating. Your verdict must be unanimous. If you are divided, do not report the specifics. Your foreperson will send out any notes. And any verdict, any communication with the court should be in writing. Judge, the alternates do not have to be here, but give your phone number to my deputy. You may be called to replace a juror. You will be called when a verdict is reached. The alternates are juror number 234, juror number 247, juror number 292, juror number 321, and juror number 330. Those in the top row. Do not read any news reports on this trial. If there were to be any, please accept my heartfelt gratitude for your service over the past 2 months, or even more. My deputy will provide my personal contact information. I could give you a tour of the courthouse. What is wrong with Judge Submarinian? Did he really? Yeah, he said I could give you a tour of the alternates. Okay. So the alternates leave. Judge, here is the verdict sheet. Only if you find the defendant guilty of count 1, answer as to each predicate, not proved or proved. And did Smeck's trafficking involve Smeck's trafficking of Cassie, Cassandra Ventura, or Jane Doe? Counts 2, 3, 4, and 5, not guilty or guilty. So he's giving them not just the instruction and the charge, he's letting them know how to fill out the jury form, okay? Now, from now on, your schedule is your own. You will be provided with meals. Now, the marshal will swear you in. Now the jurors can head back into the jury room. All rise. The jurors leave out. After the jurors leave, AUSA Johnson, we object to including the subject lines of BlackBerry messages like, I am so corny. Combs's Estevio. It is common for exhibits to include subject lines. BlackBerry messages are more akin to emails than a text message. Judge, let's have only neutral list go to the jury. I'll trust the parties to provide an appropriate laptop to the jurors. I'm going to stick around for a bit, but we'll just stay here as long as they wish to deliberate. At the end of the day, we'll bring them in. I appreciated the, hold on, I think it's colloquy or wait. Collegiality. Okay, collegiality on both sides in this case. Anything before we adjourn? AUSA Comey. No, we can go to another floor of the courthouse? Judge, just give us your cell phone number. And then they adjourn. Now, 11:48 a.m., Judge, we have received a note from the jury. They have elected juror number 5 as the foreperson. It is signed by juror number 5, and there is agreement on the laptop. It will be taken into them. Now, we'll have a longer break. Adjourned. Another note. During this court adjournment, at least for now, Sean Diddy Combs is still in the courtroom. Family members are standing in the second row. Oh, the second room. I don't know what that means. Combs goes back to speak with them, holding his hand behind his back, then back to the table, staring at a laptop. Update. As we said it would happen. Now, between jury notes, Sean Combs has been taken back into the holding cell. At the defense table, his lawyers Driscoll is typing away on his laptop. They're all nervous. Sean Combs is back in the courtroom. His lawyers are huddled behind him in discussion. There has been a note. 1:27 p.m. Judge, we have received a note from the jury. Mind you, this is a second note. The first note was to inform the judge that they elected the foreperson. This is the note that has a lot of legal analysts on Beyonce's internet like tripping out. So, from the jury, we have a juror number 25, who we believe cannot follow your instructions. I would like to meet with the court about it. Judge, I suggest I ask for more information. AUSA Comey, may we have a moment to digest what your honor has proposed? This is very sensitive. Combs' Agnifilo, I suggest we just tell them it is early. You are just getting started. If there is a further issue, please let us know. AUSA Comey, if we do that, if we go that route, we suggest instructing the jurors is important not to include any information about what is going on in the jury room. We are looking at the United States versus Baker, blah, blah, blah. They cite a case. Judge, confer on one response. I'll stay here. So he told them to figure it out. He'll stay there. It's 1:45 p.m. See if you can come to an agreed upon note. I'll come back at 2 p.m. and we'll figure this out. Okay, while still waiting, in the case, AUSA Comey cited United States versus Baker, United States Second District, upheld removal of a juror who refused to participate in deliberations as required by her obligations as a juror, despite the rule of Thomas. First case cited. So what Comey referred to when she cited that case was pretty much go ahead and kick that juror member out and let's just get one of the alternates. 2:02 p.m. The judge is back. Do we have an agreed upon response? Combs is Agnephilo. No, we do not. AUSA Comey. Ms. Slavik has emailed it to Chambers. Judge, do we have the defense's proposal? AUSA Comey. It will be in Ms. Slavik's email. Okay? So let me get that real quick. Guys. Give me a second. I'm going to go over here and read that email message that AUSA sent. Okay. Why does this say, hold on. Dear Judge Romanian. Oh, this is a letter to the judge, child. I thought that was the email. That's our on boots on the ground ex-updater complaining to the judge. All right, now the judge. I would prefer to have a neutral response, like the government's draft response. That's the one I'll use. I'll put it on the court's letterhead. Agnephilo. There is no suggestion that the juror will not follow instructions. So our proposal is more inert. What? Inert. Oh, inert. I was saying it right. The judge. I don't want to suggest to the jury that there is any particular time they must deliberate. I don't want to tell them they just started. I'm going with the government's version. We will print that out and send it in. Adjourned. Now, 4:49 p.m., Sean Diddy Combs has been brought back into the courtroom by the marshals. His lawyers are gathered around looking at a piece of paper. The judge, we have 2 notes from the jury. Now, this question, listen, this is another question from the jury. Hey guys, welcome. I'm reading, I've gotten through the jury instructions, and now I'm reading the questions from the jury that came out today as they began their deliberations, okay? So it says, if an individual asks for a controlled substance and the person hands it over, is it distribution? And 2D says they will end at 5 p.m. today. I suggest we respond by pointing to the jury charge. AUSA Comey, we have a response to the question, but if the jury wants to leave, let's do that first. Agnephilo, we have a response too. Judge, let's bring out the jury and I'll discharge them for the day. The jury enters. All rise. The judge, per the jury's request, it is now 5 p.m., so we'll excuse you for the day. Your question will answer you tomorrow morning. I am not going to bring you into the courtroom tomorrow morning. You just come in and start at 9 a.m. Judge, and then the jury leaves, of course, so then they have conversation. Judge, Miss Comey, with a question mark. AUSA Comey, I think the answer should say yes. then point them back to the instructions. Combs' Agnifilo. I would like a little more time to discuss it with the team. My initial reaction is that is not our proposal. Judge, confer with the government and let us know by 6 p.m. There is there is agreed there is agreed language. Okay? Adjourned. So, those were the goings on in the court today. Very eventful. Very interesting day. And I am so happy that my guy is back on X and updating, because I seriously was like, oh, we're not going to get to read the charge. That was good. So now that we've gotten that out the way, let me get to my notes. So the juror number 25, who was under scrutiny shortly after deliberations began, when the jury sent a note to the judge expressing worry that they believe that juror number 25, a 51-year-old male scientist, was struggling to follow the judge's instructions. In response, Judge Submaranian issued a reminder emphasizing jury duty to carefully follow the law as instructed. Now, he's having a problem following the judge's instructions. That could mean that he's like, I just think he's guilty, without actually going through the evidence, reading back the counts, evaluating the case, weighing all of the evidence, and so forth and so on. He could be saying, he's not guilty. I'm not doing this. He's not guilty, without going through the evidence, weighing all the testimony, and truly making a more informed decision. He may have a trip coming up. That's how I think. He probably want to get it done and over with. Or he could be a wild card. Who knows? Now, the four person chosen by the jury is juror number 5. Now, according to what I heard from the news media, this man is a religious man. The 4 person is a religious man. Do you guys think that will impact the structure and order of actually looking at and evaluating the evidence on a whole? Or do you think it doesn't matter? What do you guys think? You say yes, Lisa, you think it'll affect it? Anybody else? I mean, I think it could go either way, to be honest with you. I think it could go either way. Because listen, there's people in the church house freaky just like Diddy, okay? Well, actually, no. Diddy's in a category all his own. I don't think anybody is as freaky as he is. Let me take that back. So what's next? The jury has the responsibility. They must determine whether the prosecution proved that Diddy operated a criminal enterprise and committed at least 2 predicate acts. And I went through that throughout the jury charge for you guys. So we shall see. I'm still kind of saying it'll probably come through. A decision will probably be Wednesday or Thursday. I'm sticking to it. I believe that'll be Wednesday or Thursday. Now, what are the legal experts saying? Legal expert explained that the juror that if the juror cannot truly follow instructions, the judge has two options. Option one is to dismiss and seat an alternate, which does actually, it's risky because that'll be an appellate issue, automatic appellate issue. They're already in deliberations, automatic appellate issue. So I don't know. But I mean, he still can do it. He could still do that if he's finding that this juror is just there to not deliberate, because that is a part of the process. They are obligated to actually go through the deliberation process. The case can't just be handed over to them and they say, oh, we made a decision, I don't need to see any evidence. No, they have to go through all of the evidence and weigh all of it carefully. Or he could declare a mistrial. So those are his two options. He could dismiss the juror and put an alternate in that seat, which is a risk of an appellate issue, or he could declare a mistrial. Now, one of the issues that a lot of the analysts are discussing is the complexity of the instructions, okay? The jury faces a 60 plus instruction manual, which is covering RICO, sex trafficking, consent, drug distribution, and more. That alone creates a significant risk of misunderstanding. The more complicated that the jury instructions are, the longer it may take for them to kind of get the ball rolling, because see, they have to actually digest the instructions, have a better understanding of how they should be viewing the evidence, what's not considered evidence. Like the judge stated, closing arguments, that's not evidence. The parties' closings, not evidence. Nope. Research shows jurors frequently struggle to comprehend the legalese when it's, complex, or the instructions are just robust. Now, with respect to the clarification on the rug distribution, when they submitted that question, do you guys know that's a key issue or element associated with the RICO charge? That's one of the key predicate X underlined in RICO. So if they're struggling with that, how that is, or if that is, crime, they're definitely trying to just go one by one and evaluate each charge. Now let's look at some legal takeaways. If confusion persists, the judge could tighten up the instructions or even remove the juror. But like I said, doing so would risk triggering appeal or a mistrial. The normal process, reminding jurors to follow instructions and standard. Many trials include such steps: strategic outlook. Some defense side experts may welcome a drawn-out, complex process that increases doubt in the jury. Okay? Conversely, prosecutors likely see the judge's encouragement as a sign that the jury remains intact. Okay, so we will see. We will see what happens. We know that the verdict cannot come right now because the jury has gone home. They are not sequestered. They will resume deliberations tomorrow at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I will keep you guys posted if there is a verdict reached. before our regular scheduled time. I will go live as soon as the verdict is reached. So if you're not already subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing today. Be sure to set your notifications to all so that you're notified when I go live or add new content. I want to thank you guys for being here. You could have been anywhere else on these YouTube streets. However, you chose to spend this time here with me today, and I am very appreciative. So, replay gang, let's congregate in the comments. I would love to hear from you. Any predictions at this point? I think we're cool. It's cool to make some predictions. I want to see who's, what everybody is thinking. What do you think? Is he going to be guilty? Is he going to be not guilty? Is this going to end in a hung jury? Is this going to end in jury nullification? Is this going to end in a mistrial? Let me know in the comments, guys. I will catch you on the next one. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you, Lisa says, what? Hey, Martin Jackson. Thank you for being here. Thank you for showing up and congregating in the comments. Okay, I see you. I don't know why my phone is picking up. Well, whatever. Crystal, thank you so much for being here. I see you, lady. Let me see who else is in the chat. Who else is here? Fly. Okay, frequent flyness. Guys, I dropped earlier on, and that's what I was working on, and got all twisted up, tongue twisted and all that. But I did drop frequent flyness's YouTube channel in the chat. If you have not subscribed to this channel yet, I don't know what you're waiting for. If you are interested in traveling, let me see, did I click, is that the right thing? Because it's not showing me. Let me pin it. I pinned it. But if you guys want to travel in style, okay, first class, London, Europe, anywhere, take me there, I want to go there. You want to pat? Oh my gosh. Of course I have errors in my message. What does it say? You want to learn how to fly first class without the high cost. That's what I get for Russian, guys. That's what I get for Russian, like I'm from Russia. That's exactly what I get. That's what you're going to get. My oldest daughter, when she was in the military, she had a sergeant. He was, what was his name? Curry. His name was Curry. And Sergeant Curry would tell the soldiers if they, let me remove that and let me redo that right now. Here we go. There was just a grammar error, but the link is actually perfectly fine. So click on the link, subscribe to Frequent Flyness. But her sergeant would say to them, and this was after basic training. They were in AIT where they learned their jobs. And they would say, well, Sergeant Curry, we need some, we need to go to, we need to go to here, to the store, to the military shop to pick up XYZ. And he would always, anything they asked him for, he'd be like, you ain't gonna get sugar, honey, iced tea. You ain't gonna get sugar, honey, iced tea. Just take the first letters off of sugar, honey, iced tea, and you'll know what I'm saying. Some of you probably already know what I'm saying, but for those of you who don't know, who are not in the know. But he would always tell them that, and I just thought that was so funny. I was like, why would he tell y'all that? She was like, he would just always tell us that. Whenever we asked for something, we would just not get it. And he would mean it. But I say that, I share that with you to say, summertime is here. The holidays are coming up. Christmas, New Year's. If you want to book a nice trip and not spend the whole bag, I'm going to need you to subscribe to Frequent Flyness. Right now, they are adding a lot of shorts to the channel to kind of show you different excursions that they have been on so that you can see what is possible. First class treatment, first class foods, hotel, all of it. They're going to get into the meat and potatoes further down the road, which gives you all a lot of time to start saving for that wonderful trip that you definitely deserve. Okay, so subscribe to Frequent Flyness today. I'm also going to go ahead and I think it's already posted on my community wall, but I'm going to make another post today. So definitely check them out. They're doing big things out here on these YouTube streets. All right, guys. I will catch you guys on the next one. Wait, did I say hello to everybody? Frequent Flyness. Crystal, Lisa says what? Who's that? Hey, Miss Light and Love. No, Mo Light and Love. Hey, Mo. Good to see you, lady. John W. I see you, John. Thank you for joining us. I really appreciate it. And is that my girl, Something Foreign? Hey, Something Foreign. Always a pleasure to see you in the chat. Let's see, there's another John. Is that another John? Because I know there's John W. and then, oh, John Walker. Hey, John Walker. Good to see you too. I think this is the first time I've seen you in here. Great. Thank you. Thank you for joining us. I hope you enjoyed the content and I hope that you subscribed. If you haven't already subscribed, still got some time. I haven't signed off yet. Just go ahead and subscribe. Hey DA, welcome. Oh, thank you. Welcome to these dangers. I know it's scary out here, DA. I'm so scared. Let's see, who else is here? I see a lot of new faces. That's exciting. Guys, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. And Noah and Lincoln, thank you guys. Thank you for being here. Thank you guys. I really appreciate it. All right, y'all. I'm going to get up out of here. Replay gang, if you want to subscribe to Frequent Flyness, you could just swipe. I think you swipe right on the comments. You'll be able to see the live chat and the live comments. You'll be able to see the pinned comment. Just click on that and go ahead over there and check them out. I will also be posting it again on my community wall. But I'll catch you guys next time. And like I said, as soon as there is a verdict in this case, I'm hitting the live button. All right, guys. Later.